All right, Chicago Hockey Radio. Justin Lynch, Lee Grossman, not here. Tassos Kirkos here. It's late. Hawks lose 4-1 to the Vancouver Canucks. And Justin, I don't know, man, that felt like a wash, rinse, repeat of Thursday against Vancouver. I know you thought it was more competitive, but that was tough.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. It literally felt like the same game. I mean, I know Vancouver's a better team than Seattle, obviously. I know the Hawks, Seth Jones was out, Taylor Hall was out. You can make all the excuses you want. It was basically watching the same game. Just can't get anything going on offense. At least they got off to a good start this game. Like, that gave me hope. The first period of this game gave me hope. I'm like, okay, I can show up to play today against a good Canucks team. To be fair, I think they have struggled a bit recently, though. So it's like you want to take advantage of that. But we weren't able to do that in just the rest of the game, the last 40 minutes. It was all Vancouver Canucks. We couldn't get anything going on offense, just shooting pucks to the goalie's chest, just nothing going. No, just nothing. Just it's not good enough, man. It's one goal. That's 5 games now, the last 6, we scored 1 goal, and we have 6 goals to show for it in those last 5 games. The only game we scored more than 1 goal was that overtime game against the Wild. So does that even really count? Because that's past 60 minutes. It's just brutal, man. Just brutal.
Yeah, agreed. Also, if you're new here, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please. If you are an audio listener, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating and review, whether that's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you're watching, that doesn't mean you can't do those things also. And if you're listening, that doesn't mean you can't go ahead and subscribe. And if you find us on Instagram, you would know that if you do all those things, plus you follow us there on Instagram, we are giving away a Connor Bedard jersey. So winner will be picked Thursday and announced Friday. So just had to do the housekeeping stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where you want to start. I don't know. Maybe we start with the guys that weren't in the lineup.
Yeah, I will say the decision to scratch Taylor Hall is just a mind-boggling decision. It's like, this is a team that's been struggling to score goals, right? And you take away one of the few players on this team is capable of doing that. And to be fair to Kev, you inserted him in the lineup, and he did score today. He had our only goal, so to be fair. But it's like, why scratch Hall to do that, though? If you want to bring him back in, like, you tell me there aren't other guys like Pat Maroon you could have scratched, or Joey Anderson. Like, this team has enough defensive forwards. It's like, we don't have guys who can score, and you're taking out one of them. It makes no sense to me. I know Hall hasn't been great this season, but, like, who has been? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, it doesn't, I don't really see it as a send a message type of move, right? Like the Khrushchev one was early in the season. Like, there's really no logic to it to me. And once again, we're still struggling to find these line combos that work. I thought that first line was just absolutely brutal tonight. I love my boy, but I think this may have been Connor Bedard's worst game as a Blackhawk. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there right now. Like, I thought maybe recency bias, maybe because the expectations were high. I was hoping he produced, in his hometown. Maybe I was a part of it, right? Maybe he was a little nervous. The lights were too bright. I don't know. But yeah, it was not a good game for him. And now that's 9 games without a goal. It's not great, I mean, he's young, right? He's going to go through stretches like this. This team has a lot to do with that. He doesn't have much to work with, so it's not all on him. But I can't really make a ton of excuses for his performance tonight, to be honest with you. But it happens.
Yeah, I don't really get the decision to scratch Taylor Hall either. I don't know. It makes sense to the idea of, hey, maybe this is more of a message to him, one, sure, but maybe it's a message to some of the younger guys on the roster, maybe a 98, that this is a former league MVP that we're sitting here tonight that is a big part of any potential that we have here offensively, and we haven't been able to put more than 1 puck in the back of the net, and we're going to sit him down for a game because something's just clearly not working. I don't know if that's more of like a message to some of the younger guys on the team than maybe it is to Taylor Hall himself.
It could be, right? Like, it worked the rest of the locker room, right? Like, that could be like, nobody's safe, I guess, is to your point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really see much reasons for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then the Jones thing, I didn't really realize he was hurt. Did you?
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what play. I think they shared a clip. I don't know if it was from Otis or who it was that shared a clip where it may have happened in the Seattle game. I think he played through it, though.
Got to cover the logo on my cup. No free ads. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think but he continued to play through. I think it was late in the game versus Seattle. I think a puck hit him awkwardly in his foot or something, and that's why he's out. So we don't know. I think we'll know tomorrow exactly what the timeline is when they get back to Chicago and they can look him over. But considering he's on IR, I imagine it's probably going to be, at least weekly. So that's not ideal. I mean, I know Hawks fans like to dog on Seth, but it's like that defense without him
Oh,
is
it's
is
not
is
even.
yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got Alex Vlasic on an island basically. So yeah,
I
and you
will
can't
say I thought
produce.
they held up all right in his absence. It wasn't
They did,
like you. Yeah.
but it's not going to be sustainable. I think there's um I saw like I saw some sort of stat where it's like I think the Hawks in the entire time that all the games that Seth Jones has missed, like this 3 years as a Hawk, now four, I think they've won like 5 games or something like that. So not really successful. So yeah, I mean, maybe tonight it was okay, but defense probably going to struggle long term without him. So not ideal. Not ideal. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want to talk about, but like, we could talk Mikheyev, I guess, since he got in for Taylor Hall and he gets the first goal. And I thought he was all right tonight. It was probably his best game as a Blackhawk, but other than that, you know, nice to see him get off the schneid a little bit, like go to the front of the net, and that's what happens. And you put your stick on the ice and you crash the crease on a rebound, and you're gonna get lucky sometimes, right?
I think that's the guy all Hawks fans wanted to see score in his return to Vancouver today. That was the player we all had in mind, right? So former Canuck legend Ilya Mikheyev. So yeah, I mean that's probably the one positive takeaway from this game, I guess. He comes in
Boy,
after being
how glad are
scratched
the
and
Canucks? How glad are the Canucks that they got out from under that contract? Holy cow!
yeah, seriously. I mean, they basically gave him up. They gave him up to us for free, basically. It's like, yeah, we just want rid of this guy. We'll give you whatever, right? So, yeah, for them, that's a positive because he wasn't very effective there. 11 playoff games last year, no production. So, but that's just not really his game, right? He's more of a forechecker, defensive guy. So it's like when he can produce some offense, that's just a bonus. But for the Canucks, I mean, definitely a game they needed to win. They did. So props to them. It's not as much. I don't think they really played. They didn't play badly, but I think it's more we beat ourselves. To be honest with you, I think we had a chance to win this game, especially the way we started, but just couldn't play a 60-minute effort. And that's been a theme of this team. It's either bad start, good finish, or good start, and then they disappear the rest of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
They're incapable of playing 3 periods of hockey. It's like I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't know what needs to change there. Just the constant line juggling probably isn't helping there because nobody in this team can build chemistry. It's like I think Lee said it on the last post game show. It's like Richardson's just like he's just throwing darts and seeing what
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's pulling rabbits out of a hat here. I don't know.
Tonight was peak dart throwing. Oh my god! Like tonight was like the night
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, yeah, like we're really, blindfolding up the coaching staff and just, they got faces on the pictures of the players on the wall, and they're
Yeah.
just like actually throwing darts at the players' faces to like see, oh, okay, these are the three we're putting together tonight.
It's just I've said it before. It's not just that it's changing every game. It's like within periods, it's changing. It's like I don't know how you're supposed to play in that kind of system, man. It's like, and we talked about this more. Like it's not working the system. I mean, it's like this team doesn't have enough talent to win this way. This defensive centric. Nobody could score. It's like it doesn't really matter. If you kept the puck in the net, it doesn't matter how good the defense is, right? It's tough. Yeah.
Soderblom, he was all right. Right?
He was good.
I didn't love the second goal, to be honest with you, and we could talk about that, I guess. But
Yeah,
like, he was good.
Yeah, I think maybe we got screened there a little bit. I think Murphy was kind of in his line of sight. Maybe should have had that shot blocked, but I agree with you that that one was maybe soft. The first one I'll put on him, and then obviously the last two are empty netters. But that's a positive. You know what? That's another positive. Soderblom, 5 games he's played, he's been good in all of them. Maybe we need to play him more. Like, why has he only played 5 games? The way he's played, I think you could argue he's been better than Mrazek. So, yeah, I mean, with Brossoit out, that's a one positive, right? Keep him in there the way he's playing. I mean, he deserves it, right? So, good to see, especially after last year, how rough that was. So good for him. Maybe he could be a guy in this team.
Yeah, I mean, last year he looked like he was just never going to come back to North America. He was just going to go home to Sweden and just decide to hang out there, stay there.
Yeah, he was an NHL goaltender last season, but this year I don't know what he changed or what he worked on, but it's working. He's looked good for us, and he gave us a chance to win this game, and unfortunately we couldn't repay the favor. Yeah.
What else did you want to talk about? I got some other things here, but is there anything that sticks out in your mind?
Just the frustration, right? I think we've talked about this a little bit, but it's like this team. I mean, I do feel like it's like I see the potential, right? That's what's frustrating about it. But like in a way, it's more frustrating to watch than last season because like, there's not much young talent in this team to look forward to besides Bedsy. You got Reichel, he's looked good at times. Kurashev's kind of not been the same player as regards to last year. We have some guys in the defense, right? Like Kaiser and Allen, but like otherwise, there's not much of a future to watch on this team. It's all like washed mid-veteran players, right? So it's not when you're playing this way, it's just more frustrating from that aspect, right? Whereas last year after a loss like that, it's like, oh, at least Bedsy showed up. And it's like when he's regressing too, it's like it makes it even tougher. And record wise, we're at the bottom of the league. We're tied for last. And it's like, we had pretty low expectations going into the season, but I think we expected to be a little better, right? And I know the scores, we've been more competitive from that aspect because the games have been close, but it's like you watch that game, we had no business winning that game, right?
No.
So it's like we weren't in it the last two nights. The score doesn't always tell the whole story. It's like, okay, you play the system, you can stay in the games. It doesn't matter though, because we're not good enough to pull them out. We're not, there's no creativity, like Bedsy's being forced to play like this, like as a defensive forward. It's like, I don't know. I think there's more of a discussion where it's like, maybe we do try him out at wing for a few games. I know you don't love that idea, but it's like right now, I think he just needs a jolt or something.
My whole thing is, and you almost wish, because Tuesday against the Ducks is at home.
Yeah, I mean that's a game, but it's like okay, there's no excuses, right? The Ducks are as bad as us, if not worse. So I'm in at home, right? So I'll get away from this road trip back at home and hopefully have a big game. Betsy had a 5-point game against the Ducks last season, so maybe that could be the game that gets them going. But I feel like we've been saying that. So
yeah, and I guess so. A couple of thoughts though. Like one, first of all, this road trip felt like it was 8 games, and it was only 2 games out west.
Yeah, that's the effect of these 10 o'clock Eastern time starts. And why do these games always got to be so boring? It doesn't help that they're late, but they're never entertaining. They were both absolute snooze fests, man. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching here right now, props to you. It's like not only have you stayed up for this game, but you've decided to watch us break it down even more.
I won't even lie, like all of you. After watching the Oilers Leafs earlier too, and then watching this, like
it's like
the drop off was enormous.
It's like watching a different league, man. Like those two exciting teams, and then this. It's pretty brutal.
But so what I was gonna say was like, so it feels like this road trip was a lot longer than it was. It was only 2 games and 4 days and whatever, and it feels like something has to give here. Like it feels like maybe not tomorrow we're gonna wake up, but maybe Monday morning we're gonna wake up and something will have happened here.
Breaking news. Frank Nazar has been called up from Rockford.
I don't know that that's not it, honestly, on Monday. I don't know that that's not it, because if you go into that game at home on Tuesday against Anaheim and they come in here and speed bag the Blackhawks, that's like, I don't know. I think then at that point we're talking about, okay, what's going on with Luke Richardson here? Like that's like if they drop Tuesday against the Ducks and it's the same thing we've been watching, the same players, the same style of hockey, the same result, then I think like you're only increasing the drasticness of which the move is going to, you know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just going to keep like piling up and like pressure's going to build, and then eventually like they're going to do something dumb too. Like I think it's just like get it done Monday, get it done tomorrow, call him up, maybe wait until tomorrow if you want him to play the game against the Wolves, which for any of those of you local here, I might end up going to the Wolves Rockford game here at Allstate.
Nice.
Oh, did we lose Justin? Oh boy. Justin's stuck, so I'll carry the load here. Yes, it feels like the Hawks need to make a big move here at some point. Whether that is bringing up Frank Nazar or bringing up an Andreas Athanasiou type of guy. I think that is kind of what needs to happen here at some point. We've talked trades. I've sat here and I've talked, big deals being made. I know I've thrown out some names that I've gotten a lot of flack from you guys. And they're not all players that I necessarily believe are available, but Connor Bedard needs a running mate with him clearly. And, there he is. Welcome back.
What in the world just happened?
Yeah. I mean, you're back. And I didn't have to do anything. So how about that? We love the power.
Where was I?
Oh, I was filibustering pretty well there for a second. I was just saying that something needs to give here, whether it's bringing up a player, or I've talked a lot about making moves for some guys that probably aren't on the market, but Bedard clearly needs somebody to play with him. And whether that's a center that you're going to get and you're going to put Bedard on the wing, or it's a winger that you're going to get to actually give him people to pass to and people to give him the puck as well, then we're talking here. Maybe take Nazar and throw him up there. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Maybe make Nazar the one C and put Bedard in his wing. Like, try anything at this point, I mean, I keep saying that, but it's like this team needs some sort of spark, right? It's like more of the same. It's just the same thing's going to keep happening, right? So, and it's like we talk about this. It's like it's fair to judge Richardson this year, right? The first 2 years he didn't have much of a team to work with. We were tanking. Where it's like this year, it's like, I mean, for all the additions we've made, it's like you expect this team to be better. On paper, it is better. It's not a bad roster. It's nothing special, but it's not bad, right? We should be better than this. So when you're in the same position standing wise and not making that progression and nothing's changing, it's like, yeah, we can start to ask questions, right? Maybe more needs to be done. Yeah.
Like, buddy, I don't know. I told you I was watching Leafs Oilers tonight, and just like watching Mitch Marner play and thinking about him on this Hawks team for a second. Like, I know he has his playoff faults and his whatever, people want to give him crap for. That guy's unbelievable, and that guy wins you hockey games and drives the offense, like that guy. And he's been doing it for almost 10 years now, and he's 26 years old and might be unhappy in his current situation. So I think of a player like that next to 98, and I don't know how every Hawks fan isn't trying to do anything to get someone like that in the door here. I don't know.
Yeah, I see your point. Just you don't want to sacrifice, I guess, your future to do it is the worry, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle Davidson's gonna like start getting some heat too.
He's got to be working the phones now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to think something's brewing, right? At least dialogues are starting. I mean, something's got to give you, whether it is calling up somebody like Nazar or whoever from Rockford, or if it isn't that, you want to keep him down there making a trade. But it's a shame. It's like you make all these additions, 7 free agent moves, and the trades, and make the Mikheyev trade. It's like it's such a different looking team. It's like it's not like he didn't do things. It's the same result. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's not a good look for him, I guess. To your point.
Bedard has nobody to play with, I think, is like that's
nobody in his level. Yeah.
No.
I mean, Kurashev's not this, for whatever reason, he's not the same as he was last year. He was the one guy who looked good with him last year. Tavo's done nothing recently. Bertuzzi hasn't really played with him, and Hall's scratched now. So it's like, who's next? I mean, Reichel, we're still playing him on the 4C spot for some reason. I know he looks good with those two players, Maroon and Smith, but it's like, why? I don't know. Why put him on the second line, right? I don't know. Something there. Yeah. I mean, there's not really much. After to see you in Rockford too. So, yeah.
The only other thing I would say about Taylor Hall is put him back in the lineup on Tuesday. Put him on the first line with Carmen.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, we haven't seen him much up there, and that was the vision when they brought in Hall last year, was to play up Bedard, but obviously he got injured, so we never saw that. And we saw him with him a little bit in the preseason and a little bit this year, but not much. We've never really seen it consistently. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll be motivated, right? Come in and kind of give this team a spark. I think Bedsy needs a spark. This team does. Against a team like the Ducks, it's like that's got to be your response, right? We've got to score more than one goal, and against a team like that shouldn't be a problem. I say that, but it's like nothing would surprise me at this point, right? But you got to get a win, convincing win, and just and yeah, guys like Bedsy need a statement. Yeah.
I know the Ducks beat up on, I think it was Detroit the other night. Yeah, it was Detroit the other night. But the Ducks are like, you got to beat the Ducks on Tuesday.
Yeah, and the Detroit's they're not that good. I mean,
no, they're going off the rail. That might be NHL Hour headliner for Monday's show is the Detroit
we'll talk
Red
about
Wings.
That.
Honestly,
they're not that much better than us. I think they have two more points than us, and they're supposed to be a playoff team. Like, that's the one thing. It's like, okay, it's like, even if we are asked this season, like, in the long term, I know right now it sucks. The short term, it sucks. But in the long term, like, I know it's November, but it's like, get a top end every forward in that draft, man. It's like we keep saying, the one thing this prospect pool is lacking is that second elite forward to play a Bedsy. We can get that in this draft. And if not in this draft, we can get that, next offseason. Or if you want, we can get that right now. I know you're clamoring for that. So, but yeah, clearly something's got to give there. However we find that second elite winger to pair from, it's got to happen, in the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Well, if the Nashville Predators keep getting shut out by Dustin Wolf too, then the Hawks are going to have a pretty good chance at least avoiding the the absolute last place spot in the Central Division.
It's funny. We're tied for last in the league, but we're not last in our division technically
Nope.
because they're below us because we have one more win. So there you go. I mean, and also like the differences in teams there because Nashville makes all these moves in the offseason, like big moves, not like mediocre moves like Stamkos, Marchessault, so all these additions. And they expect to be a playoff team, and they're dead last right now. So I think they're definitely in much more panic mode than we are, where it's like we're disappointed, but like at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, I guess. That's what we're saying. It may sound like it the way we're talking right now, but it's not. It really isn't. This season, in the long run, it's not going to be that important, to be honest.
Yes and no. I still am of the mind that you want to be competitive this year as much as you can, because the towing of the line between rebuilding with success and getting used to losing, it's a fine line between the Edmonton Oilers of today and the old Edmonton Oilers. It's the fine line between, the Buffalo Sabres having some success over the last 10 years versus having none. I'm not saying the Hawks are going to be that, but I don't know. If you let it pile up like this and you and I think it's a good start. I do think something is coming Monday morning. I don't know if we get to Monday morning's show or no, Monday will be afternoon. But I don't know that we get to, even better. I don't know that we get to Monday afternoon's show and something hasn't happened one way or the other. I don't know.
It feels like that, right? I mean, it feels like it's inevitable. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? So
kind of like this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I've said it so many times, but yeah, my boy, let's get him up here, Frank the Tank.
Yeah, I agree. Any Canucks thoughts? Like any Canucks takes that you walked away with? I mean, they're better than I expected them to be. I thought they were going to take a step back this year, and they haven't. So they shoved it up my rear end.
Yeah, I mean, what, they're like 9-4-3 right now or something. So that's without Demko. So that's pretty good for them. And Pettersson finally got on the board today. I know he's been kind of mid this season and he's starting to look better. So that's good for them. And yeah, Eric Brandstrom game winning goal. I don't think many of us would have had that on our bingo card. And that's another thing that frustrates me about this game because is Arthur Shelov's because he's been so bad this season. So I thought, oh, this could be the game where the offense can break out and we have one goal to show for. Lincoln.
No, it's the game that makes him look really good and gain his confidence back, and now he's going to go on a tear, and the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, nothing would shock me at this point. I'd rather them than Edmonton, but yeah. Anyway, for Vancouver, big win for them. Definitely needed that, and Rick Tocchet's such a good coach, man. Like that's just such a good system there.
They got some guys that you look and they're like, you're not supposed to be that good, and then they're playing his system, and they like Connor Garland, has totally changed the narrative on himself in Vancouver. Like I remember him first going there from Arizona. It was a really big struggle for him, and he was struggling to find, they got guys like Kiefer Sherwood in there. Looks like that guy's just a dog on a bone. And, who else? Oh,
does Kiefer Sherwood, he doesn't use Sherwood sticks, does he?
Oh my gosh. I don't think so.
What a missed opportunity that is. How did they fumble the bag there? Yikes.
What if he does? What if he might?
He maybe does. Not many players use Sherwoods. I don't know if he can count two hands amount of players in the league that use them. Maybe that's the problem. Bedsy's got to get away from the Sherwood stuff. They're throwing money at him. Switch to Bauer or something. The stick that he had 70 goals with in juniors. I don't know. I'm getting unhinged here, but making conspiracies. But yeah,
no, I mean, you don't think he's gonna start changing something up a bit here too? Like how many goals is he sitting at right now in the year? Like 4 or 5?
Three. I'm like
Yikes.
55 shots, I'm guessing. I think 55.
You don't think he's going to change something up? That kid, considering how meticulous he is about everything, I'm almost positive he is right now on the ice at Rogers Center, Rogers Arena, stick handling with a new curve.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this isn't a bad thing for him too, right? Builds character. He's going to learn from this. So I know there are going to be some fans who overreact to where it's like, I can acknowledge that he had a rough night. He's going through a rough stretch, but I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. I'm confident he's going to turn around, and hopefully as soon as that Tuesday game against the Ducks. I mean, he had 3 points against them last time they played. He's always played well against them, and that's a team he should. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity for sure to get the ball rolling. I really do think once he gets one, I think if the floodgates going to open, I think he's going to be back, right? He just needs to get the monkey off the back. Yeah.
Bad Hawk show host here. Does he have an NHL hat trick?
No.
No.
No. Yeah, I mean, I would have expected. He was close a few times. He had a lot of 2-goal games
Yeah.
last year, and I was at the game against Arizona where he had a 2-on-1, and the puck was on his stick. He could have, but he just flubbed it. And I thought that was going to be the hat trick. I thought I was going to witness it, but it didn't quite happen. Colin Blackwell had the hat trick that day. So, but yeah, I think it's coming. We'll see it this season. But it's funny if he did have a hat trick, that would double his. If he has a hat trick against Tuesday, that would double his output the entire season. So hopefully that happens. But trying to speak that in existence right now. We need some positivity on a dark night.
I will also say too, Quinn Hughes is like very fun to watch.
Oh, skating, just the way he just walks the blue line and just like the way he gets involved in the offensive zone. It's just so fun to watch, right? He and Kale McCarr are just this new kind of era of defensemen.
Can you imagine we live in an era that both of those guys are like playing at the same time? And then you have Adam
So
Fox
lucky.
there too, just as like the third guy kind of. And you're like, well, he's not those guys. You know?
That's the funny. Any other era, Fox would be like undeniably the best defenseman in the league, but he's probably 3 because those 2 exist. So yeah, tough for him, right?
Yeah, kind of cool. All right, that's it from us. I think post game show Tuesday after the Ducks game, podcast Monday afternoon. We will be back here giving away our last code word for the Connor Bedard jersey. So somebody's going to get their hands on that, and that's going to be super fresh.
He's got to start posting so the value of that jersey doesn't go down at this rate. Maybe we're jinxing him out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, maybe we need to switch it to an Arvid Soderblom jersey. You think all the people that entered the contest would be happy about that about that last minute change? I don't know.
It's going to be hard to top that. Yeah, I mean, starting off with a Bedard jersey. What's the next one going to be? It's like we've got so much people enter this, but yeah, Betsy needs to do that. Whoever gets that jersey proud, right? Yeah.
All right, subscribe to this YouTube channel, 5-star rating and review, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, follow us on Instagram. Justin Lynch, Tassos Kirkos here. And yeah, we'll see everybody Monday. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we crushed that shit. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, that was one of the more active chats we've had, honestly, especially for a loss. Yeah. Everyone's like, thanks guys. Crushed it. Fuck yeah.